Hey Brilliant Bees, it's Mrs. Nestler and I am back with another story. This story is called Beekle. So before I get into the story, raise your hand if you have ever had an imaginary friend. Or maybe you still do have an imaginary friend. Do you have one? If so, go ahead and tell me their name. You can whisper it if you want. So you know that I have 4 kids and one of mine had an imaginary friend for the longest time. And her friend would go on vacations with us. Her friend would play outside and swing and eat dinner with us. And it almost became as though that imaginary friend was actually part of our family. That's right. Can you imagine that? Well, this story is called Beekle, and it is about an imaginary friend. The author of Beekle is Dan Santet. Do you remember what an author is? If you said that they write the story, you're absolutely right. So here's how our story starts. He was born on an island far away where imaginary friends were created. Here they lived and played, each eagerly waiting to be imagined by a real child. Every night, he stood under the stars, hoping for his turn to be picked by a child and given a special name. He waited for many nights. But his turn never came. His mind filled with thoughts of all the amazing things that were keeping his friend from imagining him. So, rather than waiting, he did the unimaginable. He sailed through unknown waters and faced many scary things. But thinking about his friend gave him the courage to journey on. Until he reached the real world. The real world was a strange place. No kids were eating cake. No one stopped to hear the music. And everyone needed nap time. Then he finally saw something familiar. So he followed. He had a good feeling about this place, and he could not find his friend, but he looked everywhere. He climbed to the top of a tree and looked out, wishing and hoping his friend would come. But no one came. He thought about how far he'd come and how long he'd waited and felt very sad. Then he heard a noise below. Hello? See, Beekle handed her the paper that had blown up into the tree. Her face was friendly and familiar, and there was something about her that felt just right. At first, they weren't sure what to do. Neither of them had made a friend before. But after a little while, they realized they were perfect together. So I'm going to come a little closer so you can see. They're trying to figure out each other's names. Beekle! I'm Beekle! Hi, Beekle! And her name up here is Alice. Beekle and Alice had many new adventures. They shared their snacks. They told funny jokes. The world began to feel a little less strange. And together, they did the unimaginable. The end. Sometimes when we're someplace new, like having to be schooled at home, things are a little strange. Things are different. Our routines are different, okay? But it's okay. I've been telling you this over and over and over again. It's okay that things are different. What is so great about being in new places or experiencing new things is it helps us to grow as people. It teaches us to be flexible. It teaches us to use our imagination. Sometimes we get bored hanging out at home with our brothers and our sisters or our moms or our dads or our grandmas and our grandpas. So what you need to start doing then is using that imagination. I see you use your imagination all the time when you're building with Legos and drawing pictures and telling each other stories in the classroom. And just because we're not with our Brilliant Bees family right now, we can still use our imagination. So what I want you to do tonight is create a story, okay? You can choose to write your story out, and you can even be the illustrator and draw pictures, or you can tell the story to your special adult and have them write it for you. But use that imagination and create something magnificent and brand new. And then when we get back together again in about a week or maybe a little longer, bring in your new story and share it with us, okay? I will see you soon, Brilliant Bees. I miss you, and be on the lookout for something in your mailbox, okay? Love you guys. Bye.